Come for the jokes, laugh at the cakes, but don't eat them. And if all else fails, call for Wes. Stay tuned to find out what the cameras don't show you on Nailed It. Nailed It definitely follows the formula for easy Netflix binge watches, partially thanks to its easy-to-digest 30-minute episodes. It may seem like with all the new seasons and iterations of the show that it would be easy to churn out new episodes, but it turns out that filming is quite a process for everyone involved. Host Nicole Byer told Vulture that filming actually means cast and crew undertake a 12-hour process that includes time for hair, makeup, and wardrobe fitting, with actual filming taking about 10 hours. All this means that Netflix has literally hundreds of hours of unseen Nailed It footage that never made it off the cutting room floor. Even though the bakers are only given a few hours to present their creations for each challenge, it adds up quickly. We can only imagine the delusional conversations going on between Byer, Chef Jacques Torres, and the rest of the group while they're stuck in a studio for hours on end. The obstacles on Nailed It range from predictable to outrageous. Turns out it's also quite a process for the producers to determine which challenges will make it to the final episodes, as they can't be too easy, because the point of the show is for the guests to fail in an amusing way. If each task was absolutely impossible, however, the competitors might give up before even trying. The show's culinary producer, Kim Seeley, explained to Variety that it's a long process to figure out the right cakes and goodies to model for the show. That process also includes a few rounds of development and testing with folks who remain strictly behind the scenes. Seeley said the Nailed It crew finds test contestants who are not filmed for the series to try out the challenges before they make it to the studio, explaining, "We set up everything just as if they were on the show, and then we tailor things like the time or the extra details." Unlike many other popular cooking competitions, Nailed It makes it relatively easy to get in on the fun. The participants aren't expected to be expert bakers for one. In fact, Netflix is actually looking for the opposite. When the show first came out, in fact, it was almost too easy to get cast. All that it took was an email to Nailed It casting agents with your name and a photo of your most ambitious baking creation to get your place in the running. Nowadays, considering the show's widespread popularity, making it to set as a contestant is more involved. You can apply to be on Nailed It online via an extensive survey filled with questions. According to Magical Elves, not only do casting agents want to know your personal information, but they also expect you to provide links to your social media profiles, references to people who can attest to your lack of baking skills, photos of yourself and your baking creations, and a video of yourself baking something from start to finish. In retrospect, it's definitely more work than it used to be in the early days of the series. Nailed It host Nicole Byer is an open book, and that's putting it lightly.
I'm just dealing with things. This boy unfollowed me today on Instagram and I'm reeling.
It's what makes her such a memorable part of Nailed It, even though she has no baking or cooking skills whatsoever. Ultimately, she's the catalyst for the laughter and makes the show so unique. Her reactions to some of the cakes that she is forced to eat and judge tells the audience everything they need to know about whatever she's biting into, good or bad. However, since so much Nailed It footage goes unseen, there are plenty of deleted scenes, some of which features super not safe for work jokes from Byer. In an interview with Vulture, Byer wasn't shy about sharing the naughty jokes she makes while filming. The comedian explained that during 10 hours of filming, she can cut loose. As such, editors could essentially create 3 different versions of the show, with one decidedly clean version amongst them, with Byer saying, "You could do wild, mild, or tame." I think they went in between tame and mild. There's a little innuendo in the show, but I don't think it's any more than like a Disney movie. Jacques Torres is a world-renowned pastry chef, which means that he simply doesn't have the time to both host Nailed It and create all of the sample cakes seen on the show. That's actually a job for Charity George, the secret chef employed by the Netflix show. George told Entertainment Weekly that she is seriously busy, often baking 4 items a day on the job, but she remains a professional, and she does get screen time of a sort, saying,
The hands you see making the things when Jacques explaining how to do it the right way, that's this right here, that's me.
George has been a professional baker for more than 30 years and has had a lifelong affinity for baking. However, that doesn't mean that she's perfect. On one sweltering occasion, she recalled,
"We had the AC that didn't quite stay up to snuff. All of these massive chocolate things literally came apart."
It really proves that everyone can fail, even the experts, and sometimes that imperfection is way more entertaining than a picture-perfect cake. Chef Charity George may be in charge of actually making the showpiece cakes, but picking the inspiration for each one is quite a different yet still involved process for the Nailed It crew. Culinary producer Kim Seeley told Variety that they consider current events, hot topics, and untouched subjects when trying to find inspiration for the desserts. Then the team tries to decide which would be best when viewed through a comedic lens, with Seeley explaining, "From there, it's just honing the techniques and the things that will make people just giggle uncontrollably in the final product." Nailed It creators also have to consider the different formats, such as the show's doubles competition, Nailed It Double Trouble. In that instance, showrunners realize that two people can accomplish more than one. In response, they increase the difficulty of the challenge as well as the time allotted to the teams. Though the format may seem skewed at first, Nailed It contestants aren't totally set up to fail. They are provided with ingredients, basic instructions, and occasionally, an added helping hand to at least encourage them to deliver a finished product to the judges. Yet the one basic tool that they do not receive is, surprisingly enough, a timer. Yes, the harsh truth is that they have to watch the countdown clock and do the math on the fly to make sure their cakes come out just right. Actor and comedian Paul Scheer spoke to Cinema Blend about his surprise over the lack of cooking timers when he competed on the show, explaining, "If I need to cook a cake for 25 minutes, I have to mentally keep track of it."
Guys, with respect, I want everybody here to know 25 minutes left! Hurry up!
He added that it was an unforeseen difficulty that threw him for a loop while filming. His biggest advice to future competitors is to be mindful of the clock, but take your time in the beginning to set yourself up for success. Real Nailed It fans are well aware of Nicole Byer's minion and object of affection, Wes, who is an associate director for the show and is often seen joking with Torres or forgetting the winner's trophy during the show's highly anticipated final moment. Thanks to Byer's non-stop on-camera teasing of her coworker, Wes Byer has become one of the stars of the show in his own right. Even though Byer might get a little flirty with Byer, it's all harmless and based on friendship. If you're a fan hoping to see Byer and Byer fall in love, then we have some bad news for you. Byer is actually a happily married father, according to Good Housekeeping. Byer claims that the stage manager sort of loves the attention she gives him, but it's all in good fun and very definitely not romantic. Byer is also busy behind the scenes elsewhere in Hollywood, with production credits on shows like Top Chef and Supermarket Stakeout. We all love Nailed It for the hilarious hosts and unconventional competitors, but the truth is that the show would be nothing without the behind-the-scenes crew making it all happen. Yet some viewers may not be aware that production for Season 7 was shut down at the beginning of 2022, just 4 episodes into the filming schedule. The 50-person crew wanted a union contract from their production company, Magic Elves. However, according to Giant Freakin' Robot, the company would not come to the bargaining table and instead went for the nuclear option and simply shut down the show. Entertainment Weekly explained that the protest from the Nailed It crew was in solidarity with the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, an organization made up of more than 150,000 entertainment workers, raising their voices to point out issues like lack of benefits and long work hours. It's important to remember that there are real people responsible for creating the shows we binge watch on a regular basis, a fact made all the more apparent by the Nailed It production woes. It might seem like the cast and crew of Nailed It get to chow down on endless cakes, cookies, and other pastries after those long days of filming. However, the show's culinary producer, Kim Seeley, revealed to Variety that the cakes actually aren't a popular treat for those on set. First of all, after being moved around on set all days under hot lights, the cakes aren't exactly appetizing when filming wraps. In fact, Seeley says it's rare that they stay standing up and often fall apart completely at the end of the day. Additionally, we have to remember that Nailed It bakers are far from experts in their crafts.
I'm so sorry. I was gonna be nice. Oh, that's awful.
How much salt do you put in there?
You put only salt in that.
As Seeley explained, they are doing this as quickly as humanly possible, essentially, and they are people who are familiar with the kitchen, but not the best. That's probably the nicest way to put it, but we are willing to bet that the example cakes are a most popular snack around the Netflix set.